Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are gonna focus on some useful phrases that we use for oral presentations either in class or at work. السلام عليكم. اليوم ان شاء الله غادي نتعلموا واحد الفريزز اللي مهمين، واحد التعابير اللي كنستعملوهم في العرض التقديمي ديالنا يا اما في القسم ولا اما في الخدمه. So we are gonna focus on three main components: the useful phrases that we use in the introduction، التعابير اللي كنستعملوهم في المقدمه كنبغيو نبداو واحد العرض التقديمي، in the body وسط العرض، and finally the conclusion، التعابير اللي كنختموا بهم العرض ديالنا. So let's get started. So firstly we are gonna focus on the useful phrases that we use in the introduction. So what do you mean by introduction? It means at the beginning of a presentation. غنركزوا على هذوك التعابير اللي مهمين اللي كنستعملوا في المقدمه ديال هذاك العرض التقديمي ديالنا، ما تنلحقوش وكنقوموا بالعرض ديريكتومون. هاد التعابير منها وحده فيهم اللي غنستعملوا، ما غاديش نستعملوهم كاملين بطبيعه الحال، كنختاروا وحده. So the first one we have good, right or well. غنستعملوا وحده فيهم. We are gonna choose one of the three words. Shall or can we start? إما غنستعملوا shall we start or can we start. وحده في هاد expressions to get the audience attention، باش نجلبوا الانتباه ديال الحاضرين اللي غادي نقدموا لهم العرض. So we have good, right, well. One of these words we should use at the beginning of a presentation, or we can use shall we start, can we start. So in this step we greet the audience. Greetings, we say hello. So we are gonna use one of the expressions below. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, fellow colleagues. One of these expressions that should be used. ما غنستعملوهمش كاملين، وحدة فيهم بطبيعة الحال. So this point is concerned with expressing purpose. For what purpose are you in that place? So you are going to specify the purpose or the aim for your presentation, the subject or the theme of what you are going to talk about in your presentation. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to focus on this expression and we are going to choose one of them. Not all of them, of course. So let's focus on the first expression we have. My purpose, my objective, my aim today is, and you mentioned the topic that you are going to talk about to your audience. Next phrase we have, I'm here today to, and you continue. Or the subject of my presentation is, and you mentioned the theme of your presentation. The theme of my talk is, and you specify the title of the presentation that you are going to focus on in your presentation. غادي نستعملوا وحده في هاد التعابير هادو باش غادي نخصصوا البيربس، الهدف، الغرض ديالنا، التواجد ديالنا في المكان اللي غادي نلقاو فيه العرض ديالنا. غادي نحددوا فيه العنوان ديال العرض التقديمي ديالنا اللي غادي نقدم. So this point is concerned with signposting. شنو كنقصدو بهاد signposting؟ هي الخريطة ديال العرض التقديمي ديالنا. The division of the presentation parts. هذيك presentation شحال من بارتي فيها. دونك هنا ما غاديش بخلاف هذوك النقط اللي شفنا دابا the points that we mentioned earlier. I said that we should choose one expression, one phrase of the given expressions. لأن في هاد signposting غادي هادشي كامل غادي نقولو باش نحدد التقسيم ديال البريزنتيشن ديالي النقاط ديالي اللي غادي نتكلم عليها في العرض. So this talk is divided into 4 parts. Like for just an example على حساب لي بارتي اللي عندنا في البريزنتيشنز. It could be 2 parts, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. We don't know. It depends on each one presentation. So this talk is divided into 4 parts. Firstly, I would like to look at, and you mention your point that you want to talk about. Secondly, I'll be talking about, and you move on. Thirdly, I'll take you through, and you mention the points, of course. My 4th point will be about, and last point we have, finally, I'll be looking at. دونك غتبقى لنا هاد النقطة الأخيرة في the introduction اللي كتقول inviting questions till the end of the presentation. اللي كتقول الأودينس اللي عنده شي سؤال يخليه حتى الآخر ديال العرض ويطرح السؤال ديالو. كيفاش غادي نعبروا عليها باستعمال واحد التعابير. At the end of my talk there will be a question and answer session. I would appreciate if you could keep your questions until then, or the simple one. I'd ask you to save your questions for the end, or the last expression we can use. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have at the end of my presentation. دونك غنستعملوا وحده من هاد الاكسبريشنز باش غادي نعبر على هذاك الغرض انني غنقول للاودينس ديالي خليو الاسئله ديالهم حتى الاخر ديال البريزنتيشن عاد باش غادي يجاوبوا. So you can choose anyone that you find suitable and easy to memorize. And you can practice, of course, so that it could be easier for you while delivering the presentation at the day of your presentation. So now I'm gonna move on to the body, which means at the middle of the presentation. في الوسط ديال العرض التقديمي ديالنا ملي كنبغيو ندوزو لشي نقطة لنقطة اللي هي عندي هنايا moving on اللي كنبغي ننتقل ما بين نقطة ونقطة. And I would like to move from one point to another. We use one of the phrases that I'm gonna mention now. Let's now move on. وكتذكر النقطة ديالك. Can you mention your point? I'd like to move on to, or I'd like to move to turn to. And last one we have, so far we have looked at. Now I'd like to move on to. تكون واحد الانتقال ما بين الأفكار. Transition between one idea to another. Yes, in this slide we are gonna focus on giving examples. While you are explaining a point that you move to, and you would like to illustrate your point by giving examples. ملي كنت كتهضر على واحد النقطة ديجا انتقلتي ليها وبغيتي تعطي واحد المثال باش توضح. So we are gonna focus on one of these expressions. وحدة فيهم اللي غنستعملو. as I always say. Now, let's take an example. The second phrase we have, expression. Let me give you an example. Or to illustrate this, and you continue your speech. Or for instance, or for example, to illustrate the points that you are talking about. So here we are gonna focus on these expressions and phrases when we use them to clarify our visual aids ملي كنستعملوا واحد الوسائل بصرية سواء طابلو سواء رسم مبياني سواء واحد سلايد عندنا فيه واحد الفيجرز واحد الأرقام or something like that. We use one of these expressions. So while using visual aids we use, let me show you. As you can see, or this table, this diagram, this chart, slide shows that, and you can check. And last one we have, if you have your diagram or table, whatever, is split up in two main parts. You can say on the right or left, you can see. إذا كانت واحد الرسم مبياني ولا شي معلومة شي رسم توضيحي مقسوم على جوج في two parts اليمين واليسار, and you can use on the right or left you can see, and you mention your data. So this is the last part of the presentation that is concerned with conclusion. كنقصدو بها at the end of the presentation. الخاتمة ديال العرض التقديمي غادي نشوفو هاد لي زيكسبرسيون والتعابير اللي كتستعملو باش نخرجو العرض ديالنا. So we can use for concluding. In conclusion, I'd like to say, and you conclude what you want to say. In the final analysis, I'd like to say, and you can make a conclusion of what you want to say as a wrap up. كخاتمة. العرض التقديمي ديالك اشنو باغي تقول في الاخر ديال presentation. في هاد النقطة هادي غادي نركزو على الهاند اوتس، غنشوف لي زيكسبرسيون والتعابير اللي كنستعمل. الهاند اوت كنقصدو بها داك المطبوع ديال البريزنتيشن ديالك الا كنتي ديجا مامبريمي وغتعطيه للاودينس ديالك ملي تسالي البريزنتيشن. غنستعملو وحدة في هاد الاكسبرشنز. I'll be distributing the handouts in a few moments, or the handouts are over by the door, or copies of my transparencies or slides are on the table by the door. So transparencies and slides means the same thing. They are synonyms. They could be used interchangeably. واحد كيعوض الآخر. It doesn't matter. So you can choose one of these expressions to talk about your handouts, just in case you have them, of course. Now let's move on to the next a point that is concerned with closing your presentation. قبل تسالي البريزنتيشن ديالي تنشوف كيفاش غادي نعبر للاودينس ان اللي عنده شي سؤال يقول. If you have any, so these are the tools that we can use. If you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to answer them. Or any questions? Are there any more questions? And that's it. Yes, here we go. It's the closing of the presentation. So once you answer the audience questions, you can use one of these tools Just like thank you for your attention or thank you for listening. كخاتي ملعب التقديم. And that's all. Yes, so this is all the video was about, the useful phrases for oral presentations. Yes, I wish that it is very helpful for you. Just need a little bit of practice so you can watch the video again and again so you can instill these expressions in your mind and conjuring up them easily and smoothly while delivering your presentation in front of your audience. دونك باش نعقلوا على هاد الاكسبريشنز ممكن تعاودوا الفيديو باش تبقاو عاقلين عليهم مزيان و practicing. They are very easy, simple and practical. And if you like the video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel for more videos that I will post on a daily basis. Thank you for watching.